lysosome. The Golgi apparatus produce lysosome. It is found in the cytoplasm. It is used for packaging and transportation of the glycol proteins, and then the other one, it produces lysosome. Now, it is referred, the Golgi apparatus, it is referred to as the cell's post office. It is referred to the cell's post office because of the packaging and the transportation of the glycol protein. It is referred to the cell's post office. Now, this is all about the Golgi bodies, or we can call it the Golgi apparatus. It is found in the cytoplasm, and then its function, it's for packaging and transportation of the glycol proteins, and then it produces lysosome, and then it is referred to as the cell's post office. Now we go to our second. We have the lysosome. Lysosome. In Golgi apparatus, we said it produces the lysosome. So, produced in the Golgi apparatus or the Golgi bodies. So, now let's talk about the lysosome. It is involved in the breakdown of microorganisms. So, the function, it is involved in the breakdown the lysosome, which is produced by the Golgi apparatus. It is involved in the breakdown of microorganism, or it is and worn out cells, The lysosome, it is involved in the breakdown of microorganisms and the worn out cells. The other thing, it defends, it is the function, this one, the second one, defending against pathogens, that enters the cell, So another function of the lysosome, it is to defend against pathogens that enters the cell, and then recycling materials. The third function, recycling materials. So breakdown products from lysosome can be reused by the cell. So the breakdown materials can be reused by the cell. The fourth function of the lysosome, it is digesting cellular waste. So lysosome digests the cellular waste. The cell digests its own damaged or old organelle. So this is the meaning of digesting cellular waste. And then lysosome's function, it is involved in the breakdown of microorganisms and worn out cells. It defends against pathogens that enters the cell. The third one, recycling materials. So the breakdown materials by the lysosome can be reused by the cell, and then digesting cellular waste. Now we go to our next cell seen under the electron microscope. That is our number 3. It will be mitochondria. So number 3, we have mitochondria. This is plural. And then in singular, we call it mitochondrion. This is singular. In plural, we call it mitochondria. In singular, mitochondrion. Now, mitochondrion, it is a rod-shaped organelle. So, rod-shaped organelle. It's a rod-shaped organelle. Mitochondria, it's a rod-shaped organelle. It is made up of smooth outer membrane and folded inner membrane. So the outer membrane is smooth, but then the inner membrane it is folded. So the inner membrane of the mitochondria, it is folded, while the outer membrane, it is smooth. And then the foldings of inner membrane are called cristae. So these foldings of the inner membrane are called cristae. The folding of the inner membrane are called the cristae. And then the outer membrane, it is smooth. Then the folding, the inner membrane which is folded, it is called the cristae. And then inner compartment is the matrix. Inner compartment is the matrix. So the inner compartment is the matrix, and then the cristae increases the surface area for respiration. This one, cristae, increases the surface area for respiration. The cristae, which is the inner membrane, which is the folding of the inner membrane, it increases the surface area for respiration, and then the inner compartment is the matrix. The mitochondrion is the site of the cellular respiration function. Function of the mitochondria, it is the site of cellular respiration. Site of cellular respiration. It is the site for cellular respiration, where energy is produced. Where energy is produced. Site of cellular respiration, where energy is produced. So this is all about mitochondria. Mitochondrion, which is singular, and then it is a rod-shaped organelle. The outer membrane is smooth, and then the inner membrane is folded. The foldings of the inner membrane is called the cristae, and then the inner compartment is the matrix. The cristae, this increases the surface area for respiration, and then the function of the mitochondrion is site of cellular respiration, where the energy is produced. Now that is all about the mitochondria. We go to our next organelle, that is ribosomes. The ribosomes, our fourth organelle. So ribosomes are small spherical structures. So they are spherical structures. Ribosomes are spherical structures. They are attached to endoplasmic reticulum. Attached to endoplasmic reticulum. Attached to endoplasmic reticulum, and then consist of protein and ribonucleic acid. So the ribosomes consists of proteins and ribonucleic acid. So the ribosomes, it consists of has proteins and ribonucleic acid. It is attached to endoplasmic reticulum. They are spherical in shape. They are spherical structures, which means they are spherical in shape. And then attached to endoplasmic reticulum, it consists of proteins and ribonucleic acid. The function of ribosome, it acts as site for synthesis of protein. So we can say it protein synthesis, or act as site for protein synthesis. So ribosomes, they are spherical structures attached to endoplasmic reticulum, and then it consists of proteins and ribonucleic acid, and then it acts, the function, it is for protein synthesis or acts as site for protein synthesis. So the third one we had mitochondria, the fourth one we have ribosomes. Now we go to our sixth one, which is the endoplasmic reticulum. Our fifth organelle, endoplasmic reticulum. So our fifth organelle, we have endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum, we have two types, which include, the first one, we have rough endoplasmic reticulum, and then the second one, we have smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Now, what's the difference between the rough and the smooth? In the rough endoplasmic reticulum, it has ribosomes in it. So the rough endoplasmic reticulum has ribosomes on it, while the smooth endoplasmic reticulum does not have ribosomes, lack ribosomes, which makes it smooth. If it has ribosomes, it's going to be rough. and because it doesn't have the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Now this is the difference between the two, the rough and the smooth. Now let's go to the function of both. Functions. So number one, the rough endoplasmic reticulum, rough endoplasmic reticulum. So what's the function of the rough endoplasmic reticulum? It synthesizes protein. Synthesizes proteins. Rough endoplasmic reticulum synthesizes proteins. Now the smooth endoplasmic reticulum function. Rough synthesizes proteins. Now the smooth endoplasmic, it synthesizes lipids. Synthesizes lipids. So smooth endoplasmic reticulum synthesizes lipids or transports lipid, and the rough endoplasmic reticulum synthesizes proteins or transports proteins. Now we go to our next organelle. In the endoplasmic reticulum, we have the two types, rough endoplasmic and smooth. The rough has ribosomes on it, which is always like, now this is the endoplasmic reticulum with this one. This is ribosomes. Now it definitely makes this a rough endoplasmic reticulum. If it doesn't have the ribosomes, it's going to be a smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Now we go to our sixth organelle, that is the centrioles. Our sixth organelle, centrioles. So the centrioles, it helps in the formation of cilia and flagella. The function helps in formation of cilia and flagella. The centrioles helps in formation of cilia and flagella, and the cilia and flagella are used in movement, which aids in movement. So the cilia and flagella aids in movement, and centrioles helps in formation of the cilia and flagella, which aids in movement. Now we go to our sixth one, which is the nucleolus. So our seventh organelle, nucleolus. So the nucleolus, it produces ribosomes. The nucleolus produces ribosomes, and they are found inside nucleus. So the function of the nucleolus, producing ribosomes, and they are found in the nucleus. We have 7 organelles seen through the electron microscope. We have the Golgi bodies, we have lysosome, mitochondria, we have ribosome, endoplasmic reticulum, and then we have the centriole and the nucleolus. Now let's go to the cells, the differences between the plant cells and the animal cells. The differences between our plant cells and animal cells. we had the differences between the animals and the plant. Now here we have the differences between plant cell, differences between plant cell and animal cell So we draw a table. So we have the plant cell, and then we have animal cell. We draw our table that way. And then here we add the features. So we have the differences between plant cell and animal cell. We have plant cell and animal cell. So the features: cell wall. This is the first one. So in plant cell, they have cell wall, which is cellulose cell wall. So present has cellulose cell wall. So cell wall. So the plant cell has a cell wall which is present, and the cell wall is made up of cellulose cell wall. In animal cell, the cell wall is absent. So we write here absent. So in animal cell we lack the cell wall. So lack cell wall, which is the same as absent. So plant cell has cellulose cell wall, and then animal cell, they lack cell wall, which is absent. And then we go to number 2. Our next one is the shape. The shape of the plant cell. It is rectangular shaped, and in animal cell it is irregularly shaped. The animal cell, in plant cell, the cell, it is rectangular shape, and then in animal cell it is irregularly shaped. Now we go to our third features: chloroplast. So plant cell, they require chloroplast for the production and making of food. So plant cell, of course, the chloroplast will be present. This will aid in photosynthesis. The chloroplast will be present in the plant cell, which will aid in photosynthesis. And then in animal cell, because we do not need chloroplast in making food, we do not have leaves in animal cell. So in animal cell, the chloroplast will be absent. They lack chloroplast. So animal cells lack chloroplast, and then in plant cells, the chloroplast, it is present, which aids in photosynthesis. Now we go to our fourth one. We have the centriole. So our fourth feature, we have the centriole. Now in plant cell, the centriole is absent. And then in our animal cell, the centriole is present. So centriole, we said it aids in the formation of the cilia and the flagella. In plant cell, we lack the centriole, but in animal cell, we have the it exists, so it is present. Now we go to, so this one involved in cell division. So it is present and it is involved in cell division. This one is absent. Now, our fifth, we go to lysosomes. Lysosomes. So the lysosomes in plant cell, it is rarely present. Rarely present. And then that is in plant cell. In animal cell, it is very present. Very present. Because it helps in the worn out tissues, the damaged tissue, preventing and protecting the body. So the lysosome. Now, the sixth one, we have energy storage. Energy storage. So in energy storage, plant cells, they store as starch. Stored as starch. In plant cell, we store as starch, and then in animal cell, stored as glycogen. So in animal cell, the energy is stored as glycogen, and then in plant cell, the energy is stored as starch. And then we have the central vacuole. The central vacuole. Now, this is differences between the plant cells and animal cells when we have the features. The features, for example, the cell wall, we have the shape, chloroplast, central, lysosome, energy storage, central, vacuole. Now we differentiate it while using these features. So the central vacuole, it is large. This one has large central vacuole. And then in animal cell, if it exists, it is small. If it exists, it is small. That means if it does not exist, it might exist or it might not exist. So if it exists, it is small. Central vacuole. Now, here it is. The differences between plant cell and animal cell. We have the features. We have a cell wall. In plant cell, we have the cell wall is present, but it has cellulose cell wall. It is made up of cellulose. In animal cell, we lack the cell wall. So in animal cell, we start with the cell membrane. Cell membrane in animal cell. But here in plant cell, we have the cell wall. Now we go to the cell membrane and henceforth. Then in the shape, the plant cell, it is rectangular in shape. While in animal cell, it is irregularly shaped. The shape of the plant cell, it is rectangular. It is these sides. That is the plant cell. For the plant cell, it is rectangular. And then for the animal cell, it might come to this. This is the animal cell. And then this is the plant cell. The plant cell. So here it is rectangular, and here we have it is irregularly shaped. So the shape of the plant cell, rectangular in shape, and then in animal cell it is so irregular. We cannot define the shape of the animal cell. It might be a bit circular, but we cannot define, so it is irregularly shaped. And then in chloroplast, the feature number 3, we have chloroplast. It is present in plant cell, which aids in photosynthesis. Now, because we do not need chloroplast in animal cell, it will be absent. So in animal cell, they lack chloroplast. And then we have the centriole. It is absent in the plant cell, but present in animal cell, which is involved in cell division. Now we have the lysosome. It is rarely present. And then in animal cell, it is very present, which helps in the worn out tissues and in energy storage. In plant cell, stored as starch. In plant cell, we call it starch. And then in animal cell, stored as glycogen. And now we go to our 7th, the central vacuole. This one has, the plant cell has a larger central vacuole, and in animal cell, it might not be there, or if it exists, it is a small or a smaller central vacuole. Now that is the differences between the plant cell and the animal cell when we are having the characteristics and its features. Now let's go to our chart. That is the cell specialization. The cell specialization. So, cell specialization. Cell specialization. Cell specialization. And now we start with the definition of cell specialization. So it is when cells develop specific structures and functions to perform particular roles in an organism. So cell specialization, it was when cells, we write it well. So cell specialization, it is when the cells, so cell specialization, it is when the cells develop specific structures, and functions. So cell specialization, it is when the cell develops specific structures and functions to perform particular roles. Particular roles in an organism. It is when the cells develop specific structures and functions to perform particular roles in an organism. Now, let's talk about the importance of specialization. Importance of specialization. Importance of specialization. We have number 1. Specialized cells work together to form tissues. Specialized cells work together to form tissues. Specialized cells work together to form tissues. Example of the tissues we have, we have the muscle tissue. Specialized cells work together to form tissues. That is what we call tissue. And example, we have the muscle tissues, we have the nervous tissue. The nervous tissue. Now we go to our second importance of specialization. We have tissues group to form organs. The tissues, the muscle tissues, the nervous tissue, they group together to form organs. Example, we have the example of a tissue of an organ. We have heart organ. We have the liver as an organ. We have lungs. So tissues group to form the organs. Now we go to our third. We've started with cells coming together to form a tissue, and then the tissue group to form organs, and then the organs form form systems. We have systems like, for example, the digestive system. The digestive system. We have another one, the circulatory system. Circulatory system. And then the systems, organ systems forms organelles. Example, we have an animal, we have a cow, human being. So the importance of specialization. Cells work together to form tissues. Example, we have the muscle tissue, nervous tissue, and then the tissues group to form organs. We have the heart organ and the lungs organ, and then organs forms system. Example, the digestive system, circulatory system. The organ systems forms the organelles. There is a cow and a human being. Now let's talk about the tissues, the animal tissues. So our next, here we have the animal tissues. We have plants and animal tissue, animal cell, plant cell. We have organ system from the plants and the organ system from the animal. So we are going to have animal tissues. Animal tissue. So the animal tissue, we have tissues are a group of similar cells that work together. Group of similar cells that work together. So this is definition of a tissue. Group of similar cells that work together. They are building blocks for organs and organ system. Now we have the types of animal tissues. The types of animal tissue, we have number one, we have epithelial tissue. So the animal tissue, we have type number one, the epithelial tissue. It is used for covering. So the function of the epithelial tissue, it covers and allow movement of materials. Covering and allowing movement of materials. So the function of the epithelial tissue is covering and allowing movement of materials. And now we have the example of the epithelial tissue. We have the skin. So a skin is an example of the epithelial tissue, which is used for covering and allowing movement of materials. Now we go to our second tissue, connective tissues. So the second type of animal tissue, that is the connective tissue. The connective tissue, it supports, connects, and binds other tissues. So the function, it supports, the connective tissue supports, connects, and binds other tissues. So the connective tissue, it supports, connects, and binds other tissues. So the example, we have the bone. Another example, we have the blood cartilage. That is the connective tissue. And then we go to our third. We have the muscle tissue. So the muscle tissue, its function enables movement by contracting and relaxing skeletal muscle. So the muscle tissue enables movement. It enables movement by contracting and relaxing. So the muscle tissue, it contracts and relaxes, which enables movement by contracting and relaxing. So under the muscle tissue, we have the skeletal muscle. So we have skeletal muscle. We also have the cardiac muscle. And then we have skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, and the smooth muscle. So these types of animal tissue: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, and muscle tissue. We go to our fourth tissue, which is the nervous tissue. So our fourth tissue, it's the nervous tissue. Our fourth one, we have nervous tissue. So in nervous tissue, it transmits signals throughout the body. So its function transmits signal throughout the body. Transmits signals throughout the body, and it enables communication between different body parts. So the nervous tissue enables communication. So nervous tissue, one function transmits signal throughout the body. The second one enables communication between different parts of the body. Now we go to our fifth tissue, and that is blood. The blood tissue. The blood tissue, it is used, its function transport of materials, transport of materials. So that is in animal cell. We have the epithelial tissue, the connective tissue, the muscle tissue, nervous tissue, and the blood tissue. In plant tissues, we only have three. The plant tissues. In plant tissues, so we go to our next one, which is the plant tissues. Plant tissues. So in plant tissues, we have meristematic tissue. The second one, in meristematic tissue, it is found in growing parts of the plant. Found in growing parts of the plant. And then we have the types of meristematic tissue. We have the first one, apical. The apical tissue. We also have the lateral, and we have intercalary. In meristematic tissue, in plant tissue, we have the meristematic tissue. It is found in growing parts of the plant. We have number one, the apical, lateral, and intercalary. And the other one, we have the vascular tissue. The vascular tissue. So the vascular tissue, it functions is to transport water, nutrients, transports water, nutrients, and food. In this, we have in vascular tissue, we find the xylem and the phloem. So the vascular tissue, we have the xylem and the phloem. The phloem carries water, while the phloem transports nutrients. So this one is for transporting water from the roots, and this one is for transporting nutrients produced in the leaves. And now we have our last point, that is the ground tissue. The ground tissue, it functions, it is to provide support and storage. It provides support and storage. Now, under the ground tissue, we have the following. Under the ground tissue, we have the parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. So under the ground tissue, we have number one, parenchyma. We have collenchyma, and then we have the sclerenchyma. So under the ground tissue, which provides support and storage, we have for photosynthesis, we have the parenchyma, collenchyma, and the sclerenchyma. So parenchyma, it contains chloroplasts that help in photosynthesis. So this one helps in photosynthesis. It has chloroplast, which helps in photosynthesis. Now has chloroplast. So chloroplast helps in photosynthesis, and then it stores water, nutrients for energy. And then we go to collenchyma. It is found beneath the epidermis. in cells. It provides mechanical support. Provides mechanical support. Mechanical support. It provides mechanical support. And then the sclerenchyma, it provides structural support. Provides the structural support. So under the ground tissue, we have the parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma provides structural support. This one provides mechanical support. And parenchyma, it has chloroplast that helps in photosynthesis. We have learned about the differences between the plant cells and the animal cells. We have talked about the cell seen under electron microscope and cell specialization, the importance of specialization, where we have cells working together to form tissues and tissues to organs and organ system. I have been your mwalimu, Gladys Musenya, and this has been Elimu Live. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've taken short notes.